was asked to appear at an event where I was going to be touted as an exemplary working mother. After all, managing 3 businesses, having 4 small children, not a very small feat. Now, the day of the show, it was an exceptionally trying feat. That day was insane, but you know the drill, right? No one's listening to me. The house is a mess. My husband can't see the mess. He doesn't understand that I need to focus only on my work that day. So after a full day of being torn in every direction, hour after hour, the show started. And the host says, "How was your day? How are you?" And I'm not sure why, but in that moment, and without the slightest hesitation, I said, "I've had a really hard day." And I hadn't planned to say that. And in fact, I teared up a bit when I said it. It caught me completely off guard. And the host, she was definitely thrown off guard. But the thing is, nothing had really happened to me that day that was so bad. Nothing at all. The host hadn't wanted me to say that I'd had a bad day. She wanted me to say that my life is perfect. And her audience, too, could have it all if they just followed my secret formula. There's no formula, by the way. So unfortunately for the host, we were about to have a very different conversation than she had anticipated. Nothing out of the ordinary happened to me that day, right? Nothing in particular had gone so awry that I should have been so affected. But that was precisely the problem. I'd had just another day, a day where my needs had been ignored at every turn, and by everyone I came in contact with. And I mean, it had all been thrown at me that day: work, husband, kids. Nothing was going smoothly, and no one else could manage to solve any of their own problems. They all needed me, my time, my energy, my brain power, my physical strength. And like I said, this was not out of the ordinary, and I usually grit my teeth and deal with it. I've got grit in spades, probably more than anyone I know personally. And on most days, I can stay pretty cheery and positive and even upbeat. But not this particular day. I was completely tapped out, depleted. I probably couldn't have put on a happy face to please that host and her audience if I had wanted to. I was tired of all the thinking, the planning, the noticing, the arranging, on top of running 3 companies, mediating full-time, maintaining the appearance that all was well simply was not going to happen. Now, after that interview, the feedback that I got was actually really supportive. Women were happy to know that this mom fatigue was not something that only they had. They're not struggling alone. And I'll go out on a limb and say that lots of people have this. But I also got feedback from people who were simply incredulous that I wasn't always so full of happy energy. I'm so tough. I'm so resilient. I've never seen anyone do as much as you. And my absolute favorite, but you're Superwoman. How many of us have heard these things? How many of us have had these things said to us? How many of us have said them to someone else without thinking about how it might make them feel? They're meant as compliments, right? These people are well-intentioned. And I think the point is to show appreciation for how hard it is to be a working mother, but that is certainly not how it is received when we are struggling. Instead, it feels oppressive and like we can't complain when we are having a bad day. That society needs us to suck it up and power through. Just keep moving. Well, I hate that. And I decided right then and there I was not going to fake the perfection anymore. Why? I don't want to be Superwoman. Now, I'm busy. I am, very much so, and a lot of that is by design. I would not have had this big, beautiful family and started these businesses if I didn't enjoy hard work, if I didn't take pride in my ability to perform and to excel. But you know what else I am? Overwhelmed. Overburdened. Exhausted. Unappreciated. Discarded. I talk to a lot of women who feel the same way, and the general consensus is that we are invisible. Everyone sees the glossy outside, but chooses to ignore the very obvious issue that plagues so many working women. Burnout. So many of us need help, and we are frequently crying out for it. But who offers help to Superwoman? By definition, she doesn't need help. She rescues herself and everyone around her. And what is truly frustrating is that when we ask for help, no matter the situation, no matter the scenario, it is almost never forthcoming. Now, the reasons for that are many. They're varied, and I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's beyond the scope of this talk. But the point is, I, like so many women in this room, in this country, around the world, I'm exhausted. I'm not Superwoman. I'm human. I need help. I don't want to be strong. I don't want to be tough. I don't want to be resilient. I don't want to be everyone's rock, and certainly not day in, day out without ceasing. I don't want to persevere in the face of oppression. I want to be heard when I say I need help. I want to be heard when I say I want help. I want to be able to relax without feeling like I'm being judged as being lazy. You're nodding your heads. Yeah. I want someone to say, I see how hard you're working, and I can tell you need a break. Let me help you. Let me lighten the load. And I cannot tell you the number of times I have found myself a ball of tears on the bathroom floor. Hiding from my husband, hiding from my kids, because nobody wants to see mommy cry. Nobody wants to see mommy break down. So I hide for about 20, 30 minutes, pull myself together. I put my game face back on, I put my Superwoman cape back on, and I just keep moving. I've got grit. I've got grit in spades. But you know why? I don't have any other choice. I just keep moving. I want to lay the burdens down, but who's going to pick them up? And I've thought about this so many times, but every time I do, all I can picture is my babies. And I don't really know why, but I think that it's mommy guilt. And I want to say it's just mommy guilt, but mommy guilt is so real. Intellectually, I know I need to rest. I know that resting is an action. It will regenerate me. But I can't make myself do it. I just keep going. And clearly, to my own detriment. I love how tenacious I am. I love how focused I am. I love how determined I am. But what I am starting to realize is that I don't have to be any of those things to be an excellent wife and mother and a human. It is always controversial when women talk about these subjects in person, so I'm going to say that I also have some trailblazing grit. But what I want is something that all of us want, each one of us in this room, man, woman, parent, child. We want to be seen. We want to be heard. We want to be acknowledged when the burden is too heavy, when the load is too heavy, and we do not want to be applauded while we break our backs under the weight of the load. And I posit to you today, if you are like me, do better for yourself. You deserve it simply because you are you. Thank you.